NRL Fantasy Round 5 is in the books, and it was a disaster of a round, an absolute abomination. A lot of low scores, a lot of very early injuries in games. And if you had a bad one, I'm sorry, it was mostly bad luck for you. But if you had a decent one, you would have flown up the ranks. So my side, I scored 824 this week. I ended up with a rank move from about 5,600 into the 2,000s now. So I've jumped up quite a bit, but 824 points. It's not what we've been used to. We've been seeing all these 900 plus weeks, and this is a quiet one. I'm just going to jump into the dogs and knights first. We're going to work our way backwards through the round, but I'm going to jump right down to the bottom of this list here. So a couple of things to note. Schiller, he was injured early. It meant that Thomas Cant moved to center for the majority of this game. Had a great score considering he played center the whole game. So I'll talk about Cant in a second. And Jacob Safidi did a calf, I believe it was. So he was out in the first couple of minutes of the game too. Again, that really inflated the minutes for the Newcastle middle forwards. Also, Hetherington, he copped an injury in this one as well. So for a lot of this game, they only had one guy on the bench. Stephen Crichton, I'll talk about him briefly, but yeah, not a good fantasy game for him at all, considering he was goal kicking this one. Crichton did a bit of a shoulder injury. He stayed on the field, but keep an eye on that. It might be something that holds him out in future weeks. They kept him on there to contain Bradman Best, and he did that. But he could be someone who's looked at as potentially missing a few games in future. And then Kalen Ponga, we've got to talk about this because 22 points. Ponga is in over 50% of top teams. So most top teams have Kalen Ponga. They've got this 22. Last time he played before the bye, he scored a 29 as well. So it's a couple of sub 30 scores in a row. And let's have a look at the stats here. Line break assist is the only attacking stat there. 5 tackles, 2 missed tackles, the 2 tackle breaks there, 2 errors as well. So really just breaking even across that set of stats there. And then 78 run meters, very low. 180 kick meters, which we'll talk about in a second, as well as the 4 kick defusals too. Now, for Ponga, it's been a strength and a weakness this year. So watching this game, it sort of felt like he was in first receiver a lot. He was trying to really steer the team around, do a lot of the kicking, that sort of general play stuff, and wasn't getting a lot of that high quality ball on the edges. Now, the Dogs, they locked it down. They held Newcastle scoreless, but Ponga was sort of forced to do a lot of that because Newcastle, I don't know, I think they're trying to get ready for Dylan Brown, and they're trying to sort of run this style where they've got Fletcher Sharp as this running 6, and Dylan Brown will be that running 7. They've got Cogger in there right now. So Pong is kind of taking over a lot of that attacking sort of organizational load. The issue is it means when things go wrong, Ponga sort of gets stuck in first receiver and doesn't get a lot of those big upside attacking stat plays. So for Ponga, that's the downside. But the upside is he has a great run of fixtures coming up. So awesome next 6 games. Tigers next week, who definitely can leak some points right now. And then another set of games after that as well. So if I had Kellen Ponga, I would stick with him. But you're not happy about it. You're not happy about it. And I don't know, it's a tricky one because we have so many other guys we can sell right now. Like there's a lot of guys who are popping up with injuries. We saw Jamie Humphries this week, for example. A lot of cash cows are getting to full price as well. We have a lot of cash in the bank, a lot of us too. So I would stick with Ponga and think he's going to bounce back, but that is a concerning score for you. Bradman Best back to earth a bit as well. 74 run meters, 22 tackles. Not a lot of attacking stats at all. Again, shut down by Stephen Crichton, who really Stephen Crichton has Bradman Best measure. Like whenever they match up, Best seems to be locked down. And, Best is a guy I really like, and I'd love to see him ascend up to that top center spot. But if he keeps getting shut down by Crichton, he's never going to be that guy in my eyes. So as much as I love Bradman Best, it was one that he was pretty comprehensively shut down in. And going up the list here, Greg Marzu scored a 30. Again, 139 run meters. Had a few offloads in this game. So look, he's getting his points there. Had some tackle breaks as well. Just didn't have the attacking stats. And he had a pass thrown to him that could have led to a try where the pass is a bit dodgy. He couldn't rein it in. So he may have had a try from that if that went a different way. But 30 points is pretty disappointing there. At the same time, though, they were held to 0. So I wouldn't hold it against Greg Marzu. And if you have him, those good fixtures I was talking about for Ponga, I think that's also relevant for Marzu, and I'd stick with him. Fletcher Sharp, interesting game here for Sharp. So we've talked about Sharp a bit, and I've just sort of refused to buy in and fully believe, just as a fantasy prospect. So I love his attitude. I love the way he plays footy, but this game here, you've got a 31-point game with 28 tackles there, only 32 run meters. And this is the issue. When things aren't opening up for Newcastle, Fletcher Sharp is a guy who plays off the back of that momentum and is so good at that. But there wasn't much of an opportunity in this game. So you can see him score that 31-point game. I guess if you're playing him at wing fullback, that's part of the territory with that position. But these are part of his profile, right? So he's got those upside games. He's got these games too. That brings his average down to a 54, which is still quite good. But those are going to be part of his profile when Newcastle do struggle. So if you got Fletcher Sharp again, you stick with him. If you don't have him, just keep that in mind. I think he's a bit pricey right now, and I wouldn't jump on. Up the list here, let's see. Hayes, McEwen. I wouldn't read into McEwen at all. He played, big minutes here, but a lot of injuries in this game that really inflated it. Todd as well. I wouldn't read into that either. Todd's a weapon, but just not going to get the minutes of the Dogs. Then yeah, Crossland, Croker. I mean, Sexton's there. Not as many kick meters, only 357 in this one. It's funny to say only, but yeah, he's been pumping out 700, 1,000, all that. Kraz came back this week. Just a classic Kraz performance here. So 180 run meters, 5 offloads, all to hand. So that's 20 points there. And then rocked up with a try assist here too. So 45 points for Kraz. I'm not rushing to go get Kraz, but he's an absolute weapon. Issue is he could be in the origin picture if he keeps playing this well. Frizzell had a good game, 66 minutes for him. Very solid, 46 points. Thomas Cant, let's talk about this because Cant moved to center straight away in this game. He was on 1 point after about 25 minutes, but ended up with a pretty good score here. So 32 tackles, had the 5 missed tackles playing at center, 112 run meters, 3 forced errors. 3 forced errors, 12 points. Like that's absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. This guy's been moved out to center where he doesn't normally, he can play there, but he doesn't normally play there. And he's forced 3 errors in defense. Also had the line break there too. 47 points. If you have Cant, you are jumping for joy. This is a great score for him at center in terms of pure base stats. Now, I think that this performance, as much as Newcastle weren't good, he was a good backup in that position. And I feel like for Thomas Cant, this performance has definitely solidified his place in the team somewhere. He's a good backup option at that center spot. So I think it's good news for him, but we're going to see next week what happens. So if he can keep that back row spot, it's a bit tricky because he didn't get to play back row this week. But if he can keep that back row spot, then he's going to be an awesome option. Like the work rate was absolutely fantastic this week, but it's hard to tell since he played the whole game at center here. So we'll have to wait for Teamless Tuesday for that. Curran, not interested. Mann, Thompson, King, yeah, he's sort of there or thereabouts. Gagai, a bit of a bounce back game for Gagai, but just not that pumped. I mean, 54 points in basically pure base stats is great, but I think it's a bit late for Gagai, and there's some other center options I like better. Reed Marnie, bounce back, 56 points for Reed. Only the 2 missed tackles in this game. For Reed, that's sort of what we've been waiting for. Had the try assist here, but he's getting nice and cheap. So he'll be in the mid 500s. Could be an option you look at. He can get hot for certain streaks. So I would give him one more week, but because they have the bye next week, and then maybe give him a week after that to see how he goes. But he could be an option you look at. Preston, 56, all in base stats. Very, very strong option. We talked about him a bunch. And Elliott got more minutes because of the injuries. Going through, and that was a bit of detail there, but I think that night's game really needed it because there were so many guys. I'll speed up now. Seagulls v Storm. Kohler, I'm not reading into this at all. 4 line breaks, 2 tries. A lot of those consolation points as well late in the game. 74 points. He's an absolute weapon of a player, but just doesn't get involved enough. Toka Manu, encouraging thing here isn't the 68 points. Like that's great, but 52 minutes is what I'm encouraged by. Now, I don't think Itoa Manu is a PPM guy consistently. So 52 minutes isn't always going to mean 68 or even 52 points. But if he can sort of rise up to that 55, 60 minutes, then he'll become a really interesting option. And at this price point, you could say maybe he's turned the corner. Like I'm looking at this stat line here. It's going right 133 meters run, 8 tackle breaks, 2 offloads to hand, and obviously the try there as well. But he's a destructive weapon, and he's really the only one in that sort of middle rotation for the Storm. We're also not seeing Harry Grant play as much sort of physical, aggressive attacking footy. So a guy like Katoa Kamanu is really helpful to have through the middle there. I'm going to keep an eye on him, and if he gets 50 plus minutes again, I might look at buying him. Katoa, 63. He's been in great form. Lots of attacking stats in this one. Absolute weapon. Olakuatu as well. Again, saved his score with a 58 there late in the game with a big bust. Didn't really have a great score heading into that last 10 minutes, but Manly do love some consolation points. We've seen Garrick do it before as well, but yeah, that last 10 minutes, they love to run up some points. Then Loyero, Anderson, yeah, Munster. I'm a Munster owner. I wasn't that happy about this. Like, obviously, Munster played really good footy in this game, but 53 points in a game where he had a try and 2 try assists, had nearly 100 run meters, but yeah, just no offloads there, not a lot of tackle breaks. Like the base isn't that strong for Munster this year, so I'll be sticking with him. I'll definitely be rolling with him for a bit longer, but It's mainly because we're so desperate at half, and Humphreys has gone down now as well. I think Munster does have that big ceiling game in him, but this score here, I felt like he did more than 53 points. Maybe he'll update. Maybe he'll update. Hopefully he updates. But yeah, I'm less and less convinced every week. Jerome Hughes played less minutes, so this is a great score. He looked really good in real life. Like Jerome Hughes he's just in such good nick the last couple of years. Awesome footy player. Trey Evans had some rough moments in this one, but 49 points to live with. Falalo, I don't see him keeping much of a spot long term. You could take a gamble. Just they got a few guys around the team that could take that spot. We'll talk about it more this week. I'll have a look at it because dual position is nice. Hopewadi, yeah, look, 42 is fine. He was really solid in real life, but 42 is not that great. Harry Grant grabbed some late points in this one, but again, the issue is 6 missed tackles for him, and not a lot of sort of running game. No tackle breaks. Had some run meters in this one, but yeah, just Harry Grant, 41 points. I don't know. I'm sort of stuck with these guys. I've got Grant and Munster. It's been the biggest mistake I've made this year. I'm sitting a bit outside the top 2,000, and I reckon going for those two instead of Nafahu White and Connor Watson, who I had before them, and I switched across. That's been my big mistake. I almost feel like I have to stick with them because I think they're pedigree, right? Like they're absolutely weapon players, and they've done it before in fantasy. So they probably will turn it around, but it's just a hard one. I'm gonna have to look into Grant a bit more this week. Again, look, he saved the score with a 40 plus. Like you could sell him, but I think we have too many other problems to sell guys like this. So I'm gonna stick with both of them most likely. Then Pappenhausen here, again, 40 points in a try. He does that a lot. Goal kicking added here, 14 points of goal kicking. Really not an inspiring score, but again, was pretty threatening in real life, and he's going to have those pop games. Then down the list here, Jack Howarth paid the faith back a bit, 39 points with a try. It's not transcendent here, but it was better than recent weeks. Garrick, he was on a very low score, so sort of mid 20s, and then grabbed a few late points there when the game was all over and got to 36. And you take 36 and you keep on rolling. You could probably sell Garrick if you wanted to. I mean, there's been a few people talking about selling him. I don't think you necessarily need to. Like just the upgrades aren't that inspiring. So if you went to, a lot of people talk about going to Burfirma. I like Burfirma a lot, but he moved to center. That's always been the concern. That's why I've always gone Lucas over Firma. But Firma's a weapon. If he goes back to back row, he's automatic. Then down the list here, who have we got? Sean Blaw, 80 minutes, 30 points. Like Blaw's losing cash, which is very surprising to me. I thought he might tick up a bit this year. I think he still has time to, but it just hasn't really clicked for him so far. Down the list here, anyone noteworthy down the bottom? I mean, Kamitha Metha is an interesting one. Like, I feel like he's a good player, and every now and then he gets heaps of minutes and scores a bunch of points, but then just goes back to 26 minutes. So strange one. Wishart scored 9. Hopefully he gets nice and cheap for us. So when he comes back into the team, we can enjoy that. And then Leo for the Storm played 80 minutes and scored 7 points with 63 run meters and 7 missed tackles. So I don't think he's going to be around the team a ton going forward. Broncos Tigers. This was a weird game. So the Tigers are up early. A lot of the scores in this one were a bit dodgy. No one scored over 60, which is totally bizarre in a game of footy where there's 70 points scored. So absolutely crazy. Number one scorer was Xavier Willison, who scored 2 tries. Now, I was popping off all week. I'm gonna totally own this. I was popping off all week saying Tigers will be fragile through the middle. Payne Haas is going to score 1 billion points. Payne Haas 100 plus. Blah 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 blah. Xavier Willison comes out and scores 2 tries. Like, what is that? What's going on? Where's the points for Payne Haas? We're gonna get down to him, but no, I feel like I was right, but I was also completely wrong. Like there were points on offer through the middle, and the Tigers' defense was fragile. 46 points were scored, but none of them went to Payne Haas. So yeah, Xavier Wilson, I love him as a talent. If he keeps getting big minutes, by the way, he's very interesting. I just don't see the minutes coming for him consistently. But fantastic game from him. A little bit concerning for Haas that he is so good as well, because he will eat up some minutes if he can really sort of lock down these types of performances here. So 2 tries, 2 line breaks, 7 tackle breaks, 80 meters run in 40 minutes. Like, he was awesome in this game. Galvin, 56. He's been going. Look, that's regular programming for him. No Luai in this game. Luai will come back. The scores will moderate a bit, so I'm not super excited about Galvin. Carrigan, 53. Stafford Toa grabbed 2 tries in this game, 2 line breaks, 122 run meters. He's been a bit of a bright light for the Tigers, and he's made 136K so far. He'll make more. this week. Like it's going to be a good rise. He's just been pumping out some really big numbers. And that average so far is a 47.8. Absolutely astronomical. Like, I jumped on Toa. I wasn't super excited about it when I did it. 'Cause I just sort of felt like the Tigers attack wasn't that convincing, but he has been the Tigers attack. Like he's just been absorbing all of it. So good on him. I do expect these scores to moderate a bit and him to sort of return back to a 40 average, a high 30s average. But for now, enjoy the wins. Like 2 tries for 52 points. You'll take that every day. Terrell May, 70 minutes in this game. So that's the good sign. 70 minutes is absolutely fantastic. Bad sign is the 49 points. Just a messy game. Not a lot of ball in play in this game. No attacking stats for him. Only the one offload there. 10 kick meters is kind of funny to see it appear on the stat sheet. But, like 145 run meters, 32 tackles. Like it was a weird game where, yeah, ball wasn't in play enough. And it affected him. It also affected Payne Haas, who scored 44, which is his lowest score of the year. Just a bit of a return to earth, which I'm a Haas owner. I captained Haas this week, and Xavier Wilson scored all the tries. It's just brutal. But even as a Haas owner and a Haas captain, I'm really happy to see him score 44. I'm also very happy to see Terrell May score 49 because it opens up the captain conversation again. So when Haas was just pumping out these massive scores every week, he was must captain. Now it's opened right back up. Like now we really have to think about it next week and go, all right, Payne Haas can score 44 points. Nathan Cleary went 70 plus this week. Like it's a much more fun way to play fantasy when there's different captain options. So that's an exciting one. For him here though, look, no negative stats. Had the error and the penalty in his first stint. Went off after about 28 minutes with 22 points. It was not that inspiring. But 25 tackles, 130 run meters, 2 offloads, a tackle break. The line break assist is kind of annoying because it shows that he was around the attack, but it just didn't grab it himself. So yeah, I mean with Payne Haas, I'm not gonna overreact to this, and I'm probably gonna captain him next week. Just because, like, I don't know, people will move off him. Hopefully, he's a bit of a pod captain next week. I'll stick with him. Like, I copped the low score here. I'll try to grab the high score next week because I think his minutes, they're going to bounce around, right? And I think he'll bounce back to normal. So on Cobbo, nah, just not a great base set of stats. Like, he's playing good footy with no base. Corey Pakes, 80 minutes is pretty encouraging. If you're a Pakes owner, you've enjoyed this. He scored a boatload of tries for some reason. And then he's now up to 80 minutes. So Corey Pakes is playing good footy. I do worry about Moser coming back at some point. Like he's a guy they've re-signed, obviously, and he's their future at hooker. So he may pop up at some point, and just keep that in mind. You also throw in the fact that Billy Walters came on in the halves, so Adam Reynolds got that injury. That definitely helped Corey Pakes as well. Finer there, decent performance off the bench. Hetherington, Twal. Yeah, Twal's losing minutes every week. Taruva, Reynolds caught that injury. It sucks because Reynolds had a try assist, and a pretty good set of base stats there when he went off around half time there. And yeah, he's sort of, I'm going to have to watch there. I'm not that excited about any replacement at Brisbane. Like, yeah, it's a short window and they've got so much other capable guys. And we're going to see Ben Hunt potentially rise up. If Reynolds ever did miss an extended period of time, Ben Hunt has gotten extremely cheap. He's down to 553K. He's getting cheaper as well. He's a guy that we would jump onto, but that would only be if Reynolds really missed some serious time. Pole back to normal here as well. Walsh is just cooked for fantasy this year. Like this, I don't know, he's having some decent moments in real life, but the goal kicking here as well. He's got 31 points with 8 points from goals. So you take that out. He's got 23 points. You've got a try assist in there. You take that out. He's got 16 points. Like it's been a bit of a disaster of a season. He's just getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And look, I didn't jump on him in the end. I was thinking about him. I was thinking about Thomas Kent. I just couldn't do it. Like, I just kept thinking about it. I just kept thinking, you know what? I'm just going to get Riley Smith. Like, I think Riley Smith will score me between sort of 30 and 50 points. He got 35. Walsh, yeah, not good at all. In a game where the Broncos dominated too. So he's still on my radar 100%. But I think at this point, I'm going to have to see him score well before I do it. I just can't make the leap without seeing it. 4 missed tackles, 2 errors, 76 run meters is extremely low. A bit of a weird game of footy, but it's a bit of a trend for him right now, so it's very concerning. You also throw in some free points from kick meters too. So yeah, Reece Walsh is on our list because he's too talented to keep this going. But man, it's not been good. Seyfarth here as well. Again, look, he played 80 minutes, but 31 run meters tells you exactly what happened here. Just wasn't involved in any sort of attacking footy. It was a messy game. A lot of points scored, but not good for fantasy and not great flow at all. Buller, yeah, Dwayne, Bird, yeah, Bird played big mins. Arthurs grabbed 2 tries and scored 27. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. There were some people, and I apologize now to anyone I said this to. I was chatting to someone, I can't remember who it was, someone in our private Discord group, and they were talking about potentially selling Arthurs. And I go, nah, he's scoring a try or two this week. He scored 2 tries. And you had the line break there as well and got 27. Like, that's a disaster of a game. 69 run meters. He got the 2 tries. Like, you stick with him until he stops losing cash, but I reckon it might be over for him. Then down the list here, Corey Jansen, Shibasaki grabbed a try, but only 26 points. So another one who probably close to selling him as well, if you have him. Coruscant, 18 points. Hopefully Coruscant can drop some cash because he's very streaky at the right times. But 15 tackles, 5 missed tackles is a disaster, especially at hooker. Again, that game flow was really strange. Katoni Staggs scored a 17, so he'll get nice and cheap, but are we interested? Brendan Piakura got sin binned in this game again. 15 points. And Piakura, like, he's the mascot of the show for a reason. He's a bit of a rehabilitation project. But look, Piakura, I still think he's got some chops in the NRL, and he's a bit of a weapon. But man, like, these sin bins are crazy. Like, he had a shot this week to sort of show out, and this was the kind of game where he could have really showed out an attack, but he caught that sin bin, not very involved. 15 points. He'll get down to base price. So he's going to be 230K at some point. Not playing well enough in real life to consider it, but we'll keep sort of raising him at different times. And Jack Jazewski, man, like 5 points. So this stat line, let me read it out to you. Positive stats: 14 tackles, 69 run meters. Negative stats: minus 10 points from missed tackles, minus 2 from errors, minus 2 from penalties, and minus 1 from set restarts. So you've got, in negative stats there, you've got about minus 15. So he scored 20, you take off 15, he scored 5. Like, it just an absolute disaster for Jack Jazewski. If you got him, he's a firm sell now. And I sort of thought, like, in that game, the Broncos are going to run up a score. It didn't convert for any fantasy relevant players. It's absolutely crazy how bad the scores were. So that's an anomaly. I wouldn't really read into that. Just a crazy game of footy. Dan Safidi in this one, Titans v Dolphins, was really good. So 79 points. He was on about 55 after about 23 minutes. So he was killing it early, and he sort of rounded out the game. Interesting note, Dan Safidi and Jacob Safidi, this is the biggest gap in scores between the two of them ever. Jacob Safidi scored 1, and Dan Safidi scored 79. So it's a 78-point gap, which is pretty big for the brothers. He had a try in this game, 149 run meters. Look, he's made 90K. He's going to jump up a bit more. He's going to be 100K plus of gains. It's a hard one. Like, we probably should have, I don't know, I've sort of seen Dan Safidi in the past before, taking him in draft leagues, like late in rounds, and just sort of thought about it, and he's never really converted it. At the Dolphins, he's absolutely converted this role. So 60 minutes, he's pumping out big points. What's his average here? It's 54.6. Like, absolutely huge. You could probably still make a case for buying him because he is the dominant prop at the Dolphins. Like, they don't really have a second pure prop. They play guys like Felice Kafusi there at prop a lot of the time. Mark Nichols comes on, but he's a bit more agile, a bit more of a lock as well. So Dan Safidi is that pure prop for them. So he's going to get these minutes consistently, but we could consider it. I'll look into it, but I don't know if I can recommend it. Ownership, what's the ownership here? It's 1.7%. So if you're one of that 1.7%, congratulations, you've absolutely killed it. Max Plath here, 66 points. For Plathmeister, grabbed a try. But in general, 80 minutes at lock. He's a monster when he plays 80 minutes at lock. Unfortunately, it's not his role all the time. He normally gets less minutes. When Gilbert comes back, it's going to hurt him. But yeah, Plath, if you ever get that 80-minute lock roll back, we go and get him 100%, especially at hooker. Tino copped a sin bin and still scored 60 plus. He is the weirdest fantasy scorer, man. Like, Tino. So 190 run meters, 31 tackles, 4 tackle breaks, and 3 offloads. Tons and tons of stats on offer for Tino here. I will say 63 minutes is really good for him. But look, with Tino, he's a bit more volatile than most middle forwards. So you're just going to have to cop some low scores with the high scores. Bounces out a bit. The average right now is a 54.3. So that's fine, that average. His best year ever is a 58 average. I think with coming back from injuries, he's going to rise up towards that. But at 705K, there's not a lot of value in it. So not a target for me. Jermaine Osako is a funny one. He's averaging 39, and that 39 is made up of games where he scores 20 and games where he scores 60 plus. This was a 60 plus where he grabbed a try, 8 goal kicks as well. They crushed the Titans and 156 run meters. So, yeah, Osako, heavy farm worth 53. Again, all base stats, 158 run meters, 11 tackle breaks. This guy's just a machine, but he needs some tries at some point. That's what's really going to pop his scores up. Hamaso with a 52. So back in the scoring circle for him. That's usually a good sign for him. Dave Fafita got the start, played 65 minutes in this game, 50 points. Now for Dave Fafita, the big concern here is 57 run meters. They got towed up by the Dolphins. They got absolutely towed up by the Dolphins, the Titans here. So for Dave Fafita, it's not a great game script for him as an attacking back rower, but he still scored 50. I don't know, man. I could if he's starting in the back row next week, I'm definitely buying him. And we're all going to buy him, by the way. I've saved 300K in the bank this week just so that I can go, Cole or Sandon or one of these guys straight across to Dave Fafita. That's my plan this week because I think he's going to get the start soon. I was thinking next week, last week, so potentially it could happen, but keep an eye out on that. Isaiah Katoa is one that we got to start taking seriously. I was chatting to Lockie, who does a bunch of content with us as well, and he was talking about the run meters here, 193 run meters, does all the kicking as well. Just again, a bit of a strange game where they won, but he didn't have any attacking stats. So for him, 193 run meters is crazy. Like he's made 100K already, but could still be someone you target. It's hard to make that case, but the average here, 54.8, he could maintain this. Like it hasn't been an absurd run of attacking stats or anything like that. He's just running the ball a ton. And Isaiah Katoa, it's a third year jump for him. He made a jump last year. He's made a jump this year. You could do it as a pod. Like if you're selling Jamie Humphreys, depending on how long he's out, Katoa's not the worst option at all. Then Marshall King, 48 points. Nick Reamer, another 48 as well. Chris Randall played hooker this week. I believe Verrills will be back next week, if not, then the week after. Jaden Campbell, 46. This was with a line break, but really no attacking stats there. 100 meters plus running. Only the 400 kick meters in this game, but for Jaden Campbell, that's fine. Like that's a pretty base game for him. He's going to get that 40 in base, then add attacking stats on top. I'm not worried about it. That's a game where the Titans were destroyed. Like they're just a very hard team to predict, but good on the Dolphins for getting a win back. Like that, they didn't deserve to be 0-4 or 0-5. So good to see them get to 1-5. Brimson here, he is a pure attacking player. Like we've talked about this a bunch. Had a try, scored 44 points. Had his run meters up this week. Had a few more kicks in as well. Has moderated the missed tackles too, even though they lost by quite a bit. So for Brimson, if you got him, enjoy him. If you don't have him, I can't recommend buying him because these ceiling games aren't big enough to justify it, but he's playing good and he's definitely undervalued. Now, then down the list here, we've got Sami, 43, Kafusi, 40 points, Campbell Gillard, Jolliffe, Donahue in the sort of 30s area, Foraweka, Finafuyaki, 56 minutes of Finafuyaki. It's not enough for him to score well. And then we've got Kerr, Haas. Yeah, look down the list here. Lemuelu's there with a try, but 24 minutes. I kind of wanted to see Lemuelu start. I reckon he's a starter quality back rower, but just doesn't seem to get that role. We've got to talk about Bo Firma here as well. So if you bought on Bo Firma, this is the risk with Bo. He's such a capable and explosive back rower that he can easily play at center as well. Now, it didn't work this week. They didn't win the game, but Bo Firma usually is quite solid at center. He usually grabs some attacking stats. There was nothing on offer this round. So 20 points for Bo, including that try saver there as well. 100 meters plus running, low tackle count, nothing else, no tackle breaks, no offloads. That's basically the lowest game that Bo can have. Now, it's a hard one. Like, I don't see him playing a lot of center going forward. I can't expect Cam Pereira will be back really soon. But if you have Bo, you stick with him. If you don't have him, hopefully he drops a bit of price and we can look at targeting him. Hopefully he gets down into the 600s, mid 600s, maybe even low 600s. That's probably a bit of a leap. But if you can get down nice and cheap, then we'll target him for sure. If you have him, you just have to stick with him. That's a really unlucky break for you there. Then Jalen DeGroot, 19 points, had a try assist in this game, but again, 80 run meters. That's a real trend. He's not going to be a productive fantasy player. That's my view on this. If I had him, I'd really think about selling him. Tony Francis, yeah, a bit of a dud for him too. It's 230K. It's really hard to sell him. I'd probably hold him for one more week and hope he can fluke something, but not looking likely. Then Bostock quiet, and yeah, no one else really relevant to talk about here for fantasy. Rolling through, and I'll pick up the speed now. The Eels and the Dragons. Like it's hard to pick up the speed because Paramount on my team got the win. Their first win of the year, 1-4, baby. We are on top. Now, big Clint Gutherson, a great game individually. And if I was scripting the game, Gutho having an awesome game and Parramatta winning is exactly what I would have wanted. I love Gutherson. He's a legend of the club. Love the King. Love that he's going well at St. George. 83 points for him. Glad we beat him as well. Happy to beat him. But King Gutho, absolute legend. Now, 2 tries, a try assist, 4 line breaks, 2 line break assists. And you have 7 tackle busts, an offload to hand, and 157 run meters. This dude was absolutely everywhere in attack. Just a total monster. Carried St. George. Basically played halfback, 5/8, and fullback from this week and did everything he could to get the win here, but just couldn't quite pull it out of the bag. He swapped across to the Dragons. The Eels got Lomax this week. He didn't have as impressive a stat line here, but kicked the winning field goal was the big thing. So Zach Lomax got the chocolates in real life. Gutho got the chocolates in fantasy. Do I think Gutho's worth buying into? I mean, look, 54.3 average is pretty impressive here. He's going to bump up past 600K. I talked about it in the preseason as a bit of a pod because when he plays with less established halves, he does tend to take over a bit and, do a lot more playmaking and that kind of thing. But in general, I probably wouldn't be jumping on Gutho. You can totally do it. Like it's a outrageous pod and you can have games like this, but this was a real ceiling game and I wouldn't treat this as an indicator of what's going to happen, week to week. But at the same time, St. George are a pretty fun attacking team. Like they can take it to anyone. So if you want a pod, I don't mind Guth, but it's a pretty crazy one. Same as Dylan Brown. So Dylan Brown's one who's a bit more established in the past, but 547K right now. Scored an 81 in this game. Had a try saver, a try assist, a line break assist. 28 tackles with only 1 missed. 3 tackle breaks is not outrageous for him. 3 offloads, he can do that as well. He's got that in his bag. A forced turnover in defense. And then, he didn't kick the ball much, but 164 run meters. This was a great game from Dylan Brown. And to be transparent, like, I know roast Dylan Brown a little bit as a para fan. Like, you got to do it. It's all in jest. Like, he's a great bloke. He's a good footy player, but this is what Dylan Brown can do. Like, this is a repeatable performance for Dylan Brown. Like, that's an 81-point game where the stat line I explained to you wasn't outrageous. He didn't score a try. He had a line break and a try assist. He only had 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads. Like, it's not outrageous. Big defensive work rate, but Dylan Brown can go through a stretch where he's averaging 70 points and he's now down to 547K. The price is going to bounce back up. He's dropped 100K already. Not an outrageous pod at all. Like at that price point, not outrageous at all. Probably benefits when Moses comes back too, which is a bit strange to say, but he's not doing any of the kicking anyway. So he probably benefits from Parramatta being decent. Like, yeah, I'm thinking that Moses coming back to help Dylan Brown in round 9. It's still quite a while away, but I will be considering Dylan Brown this week very, very closely. And I will shout out Biz. Biz was talking about him last week as someone he was thinking about this week as a total wild card. Didn't end up doing it, but man, like Dylan Brown, you could do worse than him. Toby Couchman, 69 minutes, 69 points. That's a great performance there. 40 tackles, 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 135 run meters. Pretty much pure base here. This guy's just a pure worker. I actually think he's worth looking at next week. Like, I know we had him on the list. Had him on the list the last couple of weeks as a buy option. I might put him on again. Like, this is a great performance, and he'll be in the 600s. Like, he's going to be expensive, but if he can play, I mean, he can run out these minutes, and he's doing it comfortably. He's not letting anyone down. He's really good. He's a really good player in real life. That's the other thing too. And he's a young guy, so he's only growing into it. Also, dual position, middle and edge. A lot of us need an edge. If you're a Jacob Preston, I know he's got on bye this week. Like, I'm all for Toby Couchman right now, and I may target Toby Couchman this week. There's a lot of guys that I'm liking in that price range, like that sort of 500 to 700K, topping out at about Dave Fafita there. But if I could buy Couchman and Dave Fafita this week, that would be really attractive for my team. Then down the list here, Paulo played 72 minutes, which is absurd, like just crazy that he's playing those minutes. But a good game for him, like 28 tackles, 3 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 190 meters. Let's monitor that. Let's watch it. I want to see him do it again next week before I make a move. But yeah, if Paulo could become fantasy relevant, that'd be crazy. Yongi, I'll eat a humble pie on this one. 222 run meters, had the try assist, line break assist, 6 tackle breaks as well. Love seeing it as a para fan. Love seeing him kill it. Look, when para competitive, he's a guy who can rack up some attacking stats. This was a ceiling game for Yongi, and it was a 59. Like you'll take that every day at 344k, but para still, para beats St George here, right? But I don't know if they've fully turned the corner. That's my concern here. With Parramatta, if you got Yongi, you stick with him. If you don't have him, I'm not rushing to go buy him. That's sort of where I sit on this. And yeah, we did talk about this a lot. Like even I sold him a few weeks ago, and I knew this game would come. Like, he's got that in him. He's a good footy player, and I love seeing him at Parramatta. But I just don't think it's going to be consistent enough. Like for him to crack 50, he had to have the try assist, line break assist, 200 meters run. A lot of things go his way, and he made some great plays. But when he has those quieter games, they're a bit too common with how Parramatta are playing. So if you've got him, stick with him. Probably start him next week. But if you don't have him, don't feel too much FOMO. He could go on a run, but there's a lot of guys who could go on a run. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't panic too much. Like, congrats if you do have him, though. He absolutely crushed it. He's a good player. Lomax 52, Holmes 50 there. Sewer, Lane had a better game. 40 tackles from him is pretty massive there as well. Dylan Egan, we've got to talk about this guy. So Egan, pure base, no negative stats, 34 tackles, 2 tackle breaks, 87 meters run in 54 minutes. He's splitting his minutes between the edge and the middle. He is such a good player. He played a few more minutes this week because of the extra time. But man, Egan's a must-have next week. I'm targeting Egan, and I'm targeting too many players. This is ridiculous, but I think Egan is the actual must-have. Like you have to get Egan this week because his role is 50 minutes, and he's this level of PPM. Must have. He'll be about 300k. He's a must, and he plays that edge spot. There's a lot of edge options that are popping up here, right? But Egan is going to be a must-have. I wanted to wait a week and see. I thought about him and Riley Smith. I thought, Riley, I think I know what Riley's role is going to be. He's going to play 60 plus minutes. He may not score as high as Egan, but he's more solid. Kautonga, 44 points, had the try there, which definitely helped him out. Had a few offloads in this game too. They were good. He was sort of forcing the offload, which I like to see from my back rowers. A few missed tackles here, which lowered his score, but 129 run meters is very encouraging to see. I view this as a really positive game. So as much as the fantasy scoring wasn't amazing, his profile in this game was awesome. Like he was doing the things we want to see. We're going to see that convert as we go along, and he's going to make a bunch of cash. So if you don't have him, could still be relevant as a buy option. Tupolotu bounced back with a 40. Little is pumping out PPM, but I'm not interested at all. Adokar, decent. Damien Cook, not a great one for him. Jermaine Hopgood scored you 37 in 54 minutes. That's a disaster. The man came out and started a hooker. Like it was weird. It was weird. It was really strange. Yeah, look, wait and see where he's named. That's kind of my answer if you think about selling Hopgood, but no, if you've got other options to sell, you can keep Hopgood. He's really talented. But if you don't have other options to sell, then you're in a tricky situation because you could think about selling him and you could get someone much, much better than Hopgood into that spot. And 1 second, guys, I'm just going to turn the light back on. Crazy room in here. It's motion sensors, guys, motion sensors. So yeah, Hopgood's an interesting one, but I wouldn't get mad at you for selling at all. Hamish Stewart back 37 and 37. Looks like he's behind Egan in terms of role there because Egan can play on the edge. Riley Smith with 35 in 66 minutes. Now, a lot of us bought him. 36 tackles is encouraging, just no attacking stats there. 38, run meters there. Like he scored 40 in defensive stats if you take into account the forced turnover, and they just had some negatives there. So if you can open up with some attack here, then that's going to be really encouraging. But the 66 minutes is very, very good for him. At 283k, he's a winner. Even with the 35 was kind of mid. Down the list here, I mean, Russell, Walker, Leilua going down. Geimer, big minutes, not a big score. Panasini's getting cheaper. Panasini at 400 if he gets down there is very interesting. Sloan, Hawkins, Moretti, Flanagan. Flanagan losing cash is pretty crazy. Then down the list, Laurie, Offa Hengawi, massive game last week, 7 points this week. Like it's very hard to predict what's going on in this middle forward rotation for Parramatta. All right, Rabbitohs and Roosters, cracker of a game, wasn't it? Absolute cracker of a game. Latrell Mitchell comes back, and look, not a great fantasy day for him, but in real life, the man's got presence about him, and they lost both their halves in that game and still won. Incredible from South Sydney. Now, fantasy is all about the Roosters. So Sua Wong, 86 points. He had the try assist. But other than that, it was all base here. So 43 tackles with only 2 missed, 3 tackle breaks, 5 offloads, 18 points from offloads there, a forced turnover and 126 run meters. This guy is hard to ignore. Hard to ignore. A lot of edges. A lot of edges to talk about. He played really well in real life as well. That's the thing. Like, Sua Wong, the big question has always been, what happens when the Roosters get back to full strength? The answer has been, well, they won't get back to full strength. That's the actual answer. Like Victor Radley, just he's out every second game. Lindsay Collins has done an MCL in this game, I believe it was. So he'll be out for a while. Like these injuries have really boosted guys like Wong, Fahu White, and what's happened now is those guys are such good footy players that they have just grabbed onto that opportunity. I don't think they're gonna let go. That's my thing here. Like if you got on Wong early, like Biz got on Wong a couple of weeks ago. So if you watch the show, you would have seen Biz recommending him hard. I was a bit iffier about the roles. I've just seen guys like Tupanua, Wong sort of churn here, but Wong has done it this year. Could be an option this week. I'm not against you buying him at all. Angus Crichton, 63. He's returned to form in a big way. Really good the last few weeks. Now up to a 56 average. That's what we expected from Gus. And it's sort of going in the right direction too. Had a line break here, 41 tackles, good defensive work rate, 4 tackle breaks, only a couple of offloads there, 121 run meters. Fine performance from Gus. Teddy on fire here too, 240 run meters and 10 tackle breaks. That's just pure James Tedesco. That's what this guy can do. And he didn't even have the big attacking plays, right? So he had a line break, but not much else. He went 60 plus. Could be a pot option we look at. Nat Butcher, 53 minutes, 58 points. This guy's a machine when he plays at lock for fantasy. And he's a guy I play in my game day squad. I've got the Nat Butcher diamond card in game day squad. So I use him a bunch there. But in regular fantasy, man, he's a pod. He's a real pod. The issue is, Victor Radley comes back next week. I know we've been saying that, right? But it does negatively impact someone out of Butcher and Wong. It's hard to pick who. It's really hard to pick who because the Roosters aren't winning games. That's the concern here, right? If they were winning games, I'd be thinking, oh yeah, they'll stick with these guys, but they're not winning games. So Radley's going to have a big role. It's really hard to predict where it goes, but Butcher is a guy. He's a pod you could take a swing at if you wanted to. I'd probably go Wong over Butcher just because of price. Fahu White, 50 minutes. 50 points, 49 minutes. Those minutes are sort of winding back a bit. They've dropped every week over the last few weeks, but 50 points is great. If he's a PPM guy, then he's absolutely a killer, right? You can stick with him for ages, and he's going to be good through the origin period as well. But I will say, we talked about him as an option this week. I still agree with my take there. Just don't target him this round. He's priced at a 43. You got a 50 there with the Lindsay Collins injury. That Collins injury is going to help him, but I think it's just too late for a guy like him. That's sort of how I see it. But if you bone it back to talent and you think he's going to average 55 this year, then go ahead, jump on. Totola had a better game, but I don't know. Totola's burned me before. He's a hard one to back. And the other try here too. Connor Watson, 66 minutes is a bit concerning for him. Had, a bit of a mid-game, 47 points off 44 tackles. A bit more of a traditional hooker game. He'll bounce back, but again, just keep an eye on him. Then Gray, Hubner 46 with a try assist there as well. Minutes were boosted massively by the injuries here for South Sydney. So 62 minutes. They lost both their halves, and they had a bunch of rotations that were thrown out of whack. For them, Hubner is a guy who can increase minutes, but I would expect him to be a 40-minute guy if South Sydney ever have a game where they don't cop any injuries. Just seems that they don't have those games, and Hubner's going to keep benefiting. Rob Toyer, I'm just going to, by the way, say it. I called Rob Toyer to outscore Latrell Mitchell, and everyone laughed at me. Well, look at this, 46 compared to Latrell's 45. Now, it's a very small victory, but as the great Vin Diesel says, it doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. So Rob Toyer, 28 tackles here, 121 run meters. Only had the one missed tackle in this game too. Had an offload, tackle break, all that sort of thing. But pretty much a base stat performance from Rob Toyer. I love it. I love Rob Toyer. I'm going to try and keep Rob Toyer all year. I think he's an absolute machine. He's pumping out a 41.4 average on the back of not too many attacking stats. And I think those attacking stats will come, especially when Sam Walker comes back. So Rob Toyer, great schedule through the origin period. I stick with him. I keep getting asked whether we should sell Toya. Do not sell Toya. Toya's a machine. I love Rob Toya this year. Latrell Mitchell, 45 points. He played great footy in real life, but the good thing about this is he's getting cheaper for us in fantasy. Now, he will not stay at center for a long time, but my hope here is that he stays at center until round 7, because in round 7, they do dual position. And in dual position week, if he's named in the center spot after 3 consecutive weeks, he will get center dual position. Latrell Mitchell may be available at our center spot. That would be awesome. So that's what I want. I want him to play center for 3 weeks. I want him to lose some cash, get down to maybe 700K, something like that. And then we can all buy him at center when he goes back to fullback. That's what I want for us. That's my prayer for us. Latrell Mitchell, big game. I will shout out here too, like just a really weird stat profile for Latrell. So he had the 45 points. That included 18 points from kick meters, 568 kick meters. That will not happen next week. That's a massive boost. But he played in the halves, right? So he lost a few of his attacking plays as well. But that's insane. Like, that's absolutely incredible. He just did all the kicking for South Sydney, basically. So, yeah, when he goes back to center next week, or maybe he plays half, I would say he plays center. I would expect probably Sullivan and Dodd to play in the halves, or maybe they play Latrell at 6 next to Dodd, or, they got a few options there. But yeah, Trell at center, he'll lose some cash for us. Don't buy him yet. Sandon Smith, 44, had the try. He was on like 28 points after 17 seconds or whatever. No, it wasn't. Like 15 minutes. And then he sort of slowly grabbed some points after that. Had some more kick meters in this game, so 142 kick meters. That's a bit better than previous weeks. But overall, I'm pretty happy to sell him soon. Like, if he scores a try, he grabs 45. If he doesn't score a try, he grabs 20. Like, that kind of seems to be his profile. And down the list here, Kalamatangi kind of mid, Kepi, Lenu. Sullivan is cheap if he gets the role. We'll see how long Cody Walker and Humphreys are out for. We'll talk about them in a sec. Mama Zealous, 80 minutes, but 35 points, kind of not that great. Just tackles and some run meters in this one for him. I'm sticking with him. He's going to keep on rolling, but not that inspiring. Dom Young, Steve Townsend. A bit of talk that Townsend might have been dropped for this one, but he came out and played. Then down the list here, Moale. Billy Smith came back, grabbed a try. I don't know if he played pretty well, but Noani Tuase has been pretty good too. Billy Smith was the preferred before the injury, so keep an eye on that. I think Rob Toya has done enough to keep his spot, but Noani Tuase is a great player too. It's a tough one. They got 3 really good centers. Let's see what Team List Tuesday holds. Jai Arrow had to play at center this week, so he scored 27. That was really it for him. Forgetty, Collins might be out for a while. I believe it was an MCL injury there. Dan Tupou quiet. Jack Whiten very quiet. Whiten is another option they consider in the halves as well if they want to do that. Not a bad option. Then Ravalawa, he copped an injury in this game too. He went out early. Then Humphreys and Cody Walker both ended up on 1 point. Humphreys was 1 point after 5 minutes. Cody Walker was 1 point after 41 minutes. Yeah, look, Humphreys is the big one I want to talk about here. So he's out with that hamstring. It was a turn and chase situation, so no contacting, that sort of thing. I know I'm not an NRL physio, right? I can't make a prediction, but my answer to this is it's very similar to Dylan Lucas. I think if it's 2 weeks confirmed, we stick with him. But if it's more than 2 weeks, then it's hard to hold on. The thing is, he's priced at around a 49, I believe it is. So 650K. It's about a 49 he's priced at. If you think he can average 60 plus, you probably hold him. If you think he's going to lower down, then you probably don't. He's losing the goal kicking to Latrell as well. I'll consider holding him, but yeah, 2 weeks I'd hold. Anything more than that, I'd probably sell. It depends what we have for options this week. Because we're all getting Dylan Egan this week, though, you might not need the money. Like, it's an interesting one. But yeah, I would say 2 weeks is hold. 3 weeks is up to you. 4 weeks is sell. That's kind of how I view this. Then going through the list here, Panthers and the Cowboys. And yeah, Panthers 1-4. Like, they went out and beat Cronulla, and they just beat Cronulla in Vegas. Damn close. They could be 0-5 at this point. Like, they could be 0-5 if that game went differently. So yeah, Cowboys got up. Shout out to Jackson Purdue, who absolutely killed it. I'll talk about him in a sec. But Cleary topped the scoring, 71 points. If you captain Cleary this week, the pod captain, you crushed it. You saw the 71, you thought, I don't know if that's going to be a good enough score. And then Terrell May came and scored 49, and Payne Haas scored 44. So if you've done that, congratulations. I love you. You did a good job. That was a ballsy move, and you've made it work. Now, People who don't own Cleary, this is kind of what we were talking about when we were saying he's a guy you want to own your team. So they lost this game. He had a try assist and line break, but overall it wasn't a pure attacking game. It's a lot of base here. So 20 points from kicks, 150 run meters. The offloads there, tackle breaks. He's just a guy who gets involved, and look, he's the best player in the league for a reason. Cleary, if you don't have him, he'll drop cash this week. So his break even was around 100 points. But this is probably the week to buy him. Saying that, just keep in mind the origin period won't be the best for him, and he has the buy in round 11. So just keep that in mind. But I think you want to own Cleary, especially at this price point. So yeah, go and target him. If you don't have Cleary, he's probably priority number one. Isaiah Yo, grabbed him a couple of weeks ago. Just sort of wanted some stable points for my team. And look, 68. I love it. Great score. Had a try assist in this one, which definitely helped. But Isaiah Yo, his downfall has been significantly exaggerated. So for Isaiah Yo, it's been 4 games over 60, and that one random game where he scored 30. That's fine. All right. It's an outlier game. He's cheap. I like him as a target, but I like Cleary more. But if you don't have Yo, I don't mind you targeting him either. Jackson Purdue is legit, guys. Like, he is killing it. And I want to apologize for being a doubter. Like, I always said he was talented. I thought he was more suited towards the fullback and half roles, which is what he's played in reserve grade. I wasn't sure how he'd go at center. And I'm a big Laybut fan as well. So I thought Laybut was going to come in at some point. But I own Jackson Purdue. I just never start him. that's that's my thing here, and I'm gonna have to rethink this because 63 points was absolutely fantastic. So let's go through the stat line here. He had the try, a try saver, he had a try assist, a line break assist. So covered all the attacking stat categories there. Had 11 tackles with only one miss. Had 5 tackle breaks, one offload, one forced error, and 146 run meters. Now, the thing that was encouraging for me wasn't the big attacking stats. Like, we know he can attack, but 146 run meters, one of those runs, and the line break I'm talking about here, was a bust where he took the ball out of dummy half on their own 20-meter line and just cut around the markers, cut between 2 defenders, and got into the clear. Like, this guy is a completely different player to what we saw in round one. Like, he is so solid. And I think he's benefited a bit too from Clifford coming into the team. I think there's a bit more stable. I don't know. The Cowboys are playing better footy. They're winning a few games here. Jackson Purdue he's going to make us some cash, and I'm glad we all stuck with him because, yeah, he's going to make us some serious money here. But now we have to think about whether we start him. We'll look at the matchup next week, but from memory, it's not a great matchup the Cowboys have this week, so I may not start him. But I'll tell you what, he's got to be on the considerations. Clifford, 59 points. Again, someone we have to consider here too. Putting up some big numbers. Look, a 61 average so far. Priced around, he'll jump up past 600K. Could be a pod you look at. I'd go. It's hard to go him over like an Isaiah Katoa, who's doing better. But you could pot up with Clifford if you wanted to. Murray Talangi, he was getting cheap. I was hoping he'd get into the sort of the 300s there, but he's at his big game here, 58 points, so he will be too expensive to consider. Dane Laurie, 49, solid. He's always solid when he gets back there. Drinkwater, a lot of attacking stats here, but only the 47. Again, like one we want to get cheaper as well. Papali'i was named on the edge, and then Garner moved in there. He moved to prop. Lindsay Smith moved to the bench. It's a messy set of rotations at Penrith. 41 minutes, 46 points. Papali'i's fine, but he doesn't play in the edge back row spot, and he's not interesting for us at fantasy at all. Robson had a sin bin, 44 points. That was a pretty good game other than the sin bin. Garner played decent minutes, scored a try, but meh. Nanai coming back to it, still only 49 minutes. And Jenkins, we love the 42. That's fine. I'm going to be a bit frustrated here. He sort of came into this game and he could have had a bigger score. He definitely could have had a bigger score. So Jenkins could have had a try off a Casey McLean break where he was 2-on-1 with the fullback, dummied and ran straight into the fullback instead of passing to Jenkins. So that would have pumped Jenkins up into the low 50s. That would have been an awesome day for him. 42 is still great. We take that every day. And I think Penrith will bounce back at some point. So he'll be in the clear. McLean, solid game for him, but a bit too expensive and just sort of not playing the best footy in real life. So not very secure in his role. I think Jenkins is ahead of McLean in the pecking order right now. Lindsay Smith, low minute game. Low minute game. We talked about him a bit as like a guy. He's been overperforming, 56.5. He's been killing it. And someone that you could consider, but just not worth looking at really with the middle rotation we already have. 38 points in 46 minutes is the low end of what you can expect from him. And yeah, if you've got him, you weren't happy with that. Dearden, Alamotti, Edwards, Bateman back to some lower scores. Henry, Vilea, down the list here, McLean. Derby, quiet as well. Isaac Tungo had a try and still only scored 20. Oh, he's been a disaster for fantasy the last couple of years. Jack Cole, 14 points in this game, back to regular programming. Probably a sell this week, Cole. Just he's I like him as a player. Like I think that game where he played without Cleary, he sort of showed what he could do. But when he plays next to Cleary, it's just no involvement. Like 37 run meters in this game, no kicks at all. It's a tricky one. Like I think we could sell him this week, Cole. I probably will do it. Cole to Egan feels like a really good trade. Then down to Raiders and the Sharks, and this was a belter of a finish in this game. So Tarpanay 86, not fantasy relevant right now, but I mean, I say that he's averaging 60. He's just a hard one to back because that 59 minutes, he's not going to score 86 most of the time. But 5 tackle breaks, 5 offloads, no negative stats at all, pure work rate. If you want a pod, go pod up. Go pod up. I'm not going to tell you not to buy Tarpanay, but normally I wait for Tarpanay till later in the season, through that origin period. But if you want to go Tarpanay, go do it. I just don't see why he would score this well week to week, but you can make that call. Hudson Young is one that I've been pumping up for a bit. 75 points, 2 tries, had the sin bin as well. Could have been a massive game for him. Absolutely killed it. Matty Nicholson played most of the game here, grabbed a try in this one. And other than that, just did his regular base stat stuff. So 46 tackles, 6 tackle breaks, 80 meters run. Not even crazy for the meters. But you get 74 points out of him. You love that. And he's playing good footy. So he may end up securing that role over Hosking. Hosking might play lock. Like, yeah, if you own Nicholson, you're riding a positive wave here. Fogarty killed it, 65 points. No real attacking stats in this game, but just pumped out big numbers on the kicks and defensively as well. Harodi, we talked about him as a cheapy option, as someone, sort of similar to Shibasaki. 65 is more than what I expected. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect 65. I thought he could pump out some big numbers, but that's a big score. So I had a try there, 200 meters plus run. Played good footy. Cronulla are a fun attacking team. So yeah, it's probably too late to get on Haredi now. Kale Iro is due back around round 9. So it's a small window, but if you're in a draft league and he's still available, I love him as an option. For Noah Blake, 55 minutes is the downside there. 61 points is good unit, but not someone I'm targeting. Nakora, 2 tries for that 59 points, so I'm not excited about it. Don't jump on. McInnes, 50 minutes, back to normal, right? We talked about this last week. He pumped out that 75 minutes. We thought, all right, if you can do it again, we'll jump on. He didn't do it. Not interested. Corey Horsburgh, only 51 minutes is a bit concerning, but 54 points. Like, Horsburgh's not going to be a keeper. We thought he might have that potential. I don't feel like he's going to be a keeper. So enjoy the ride with Horsburgh, but at some point you will sell. Starling, these minutes keep dropping. 51 minutes here, 44 points. He's a machine, but the minutes are not good. Then Hazelton, Burns, Nico Hines, 41 points here. Look, Nico, 123 run meters, so the involvement was there, but no tackle breaks, no offloads, just not super potent, no attacking stats. That's the issue with Nico. He has that lower ceiling, but even 41, it's not that bad. Goal kicking, I don't know. Nico will get cheap at some point, and we'll look at him then. Tomoko, 38 in base stats is okay. Smithies, Ramian, Tamale. Tamale had the line break there, 200 meters run, solid 36. I'll live with that from him. Just need some more tries. I think Owen Paddy, 35 points in 29 minutes. What a machine this dude is. So 30 tackles in his 29 minutes. He's an absolute beast. And if we had more roster slots, I'd be targeting him. But I just don't have enough roster slots for a guy who sometimes gets 15 minutes. But I think as the year evolves, his minutes will evolve because he's playing good footy and, he's the future of the club there. Seb Chris, Papali'i, KO Weeks, getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Nearly had that try, but it got taken off him with the bunker review. Molatalo, Mariota, Stone Street. Ethan Strange getting cheap too, but no real sign of a turnaround. And Xavier Savage, hopefully he can get a bit cheaper as well because that 17 is quite a low score for him. And then Roppin across. That's us done and dusted. Sorry. So that was the first game. So that's us done for our recap this week. In terms of targets this week, Egan is a big one. There's a bunch of other options we can talk about here. If Dave Fafita starts, that's awesome. Couchman is a hot one too. Halves are tricky with Jamie Humphries. I'll talk about that a lot this week, but the situation there is you want him confirmed back 2 weeks from now. If it's more than that, you probably sell. Tricky week. Last word is don't be too stressed about it. Everyone went through the hard week. We're all dealing with it. So just make sure you take advantage of the opportunity we have. And with a guy like Humphries going down, if he's out long term, make sure you make the best trade you can for your team. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.